Welcome to Shadowy Menace Rogue build, you annoying bastards. This is Shadowcaster build that utilizes all of its advantages to become impossible to deal with due to mobility and dodginess. Best races for this build are Sylvan Elf, High Elf, Snow Dwarf and Marsh Halfling, but I would choose Halfling last, because they don't have longbow or heavy crossbow proficiency, even though that can be offset with Lawkeeper background. Preferred background would be Spy because of poison crafting and stealth, Sellsword for medium armor proficiency, or Low Life for thieves, tools, mastery and stealth. Only two attributes we need are dexterity and constitution. Try to get both as high as possible. Other than that, you are free to go for whichever of three mental attributes. If you don't have someone with survival and perception skills in your party, then go for wisdom. When it comes to skills, there are many viable options, but mostly depend on race and background choices, so go nuts here as long as stealth is priority. Athletics is not bad option here too. At level 3 Shadowcaster is chosen. This subclass enables using some spells that can make us incredibly difficult to deal with. Spells you should choose are Shadow Dagger, Chill Touch if you went with Intelligence, True Strike and whatever else you want from cantrips. Mandatory tier 1 spells are False Life and Shield. At level 4 go for Uncanny Accuracy feat and whichever spell. At level 6 you can choose 2 expertise skills. Definitely stealth should be one of them, and other than that, whatever. At level 7 important spell is Blur. At level 8 improve dexterity and constitution further. Spell whichever. At level 10 again whichever spell. Just be careful as Blur is most important spell we use and it uses concentration. First gear slot Rapier only because shield reaction spell can't be activated while dual wielding. Second slot Longbow or Heavy Crossbow, depends which race you went with. Snow Dwarfs use Heavy Crossbow. Don't forget spell focus too. I mostly use this class for long range attacks, but it is far from weak in melee, hard to hit and can deal substantial damage through sneak attack. Trick you can use to remain hidden and shoot goes like this. First buff yourself with False Life and Blur just in case. Apply poison to ranged weapon, put Bless and Haste on rogue if possible. Start battle far from enemies to be able to get out of sight easily. Shoot and if spotted break line of sight by going to cover and then proceed to use hide through cunning action. Pick off enemies one by one like this. When it comes to melee, we are equipped with Uncanny Dodge, Shield and Blur. All of these make Shadowcaster very hard to hit. Shield can only be used with two-handed weapons like Longbow for example, and with offhand free. Problem is that this spell has mind of its own and sometimes doesn't trigger at all when it should have. No clue why. I just know that while dual wielding it can't trigger at all due to offhand slot being taken. Cool thing you can do with Shadowcaster is counter spellcasters with Shadow Dagger and Chill Touch cantrips. Counter with Chill Touch if you went with Intelligence as your third attribute, and use Shadow Dagger if you went with anything else besides Intelligence. Other than that, use Cunning Action, Shadow Dodge and whatever else to run around the battlefield, picking off enemies from afar or up close. All options are open. That would be all, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Solasta content.